I'm a storyteller. I like telling stories. In my journey, I have met and interacted with all sorts of people, and the stories I tell are of those who have enriched my journey in life. One such individual is Dr. Philomena D'Souza. Her journey is not merely riveting, but also awe-inspiring.
First, I wanted to be a teacher when I was 10 years old.
Okay.
But by the time I reached 15, I'd heard of Mother Teresa.
Okay.
And as a young, impressionable child or adolescent, I was very much impressed by what Mother Teresa was doing in India. Let me just say that I was not born in Goa or in India. I was born in Africa and studied there.
Okay.
So for me, India was an alien place. It was just a place we went to for a holiday 1 month and came back. So when I heard about what Mother Teresa was doing in India, I got taken up by it, and that's I think when the transition occurred. That instead of being a teacher, why don't I become a doctor?
Wow.
Now we were not rich. My father was only a 5th standard pass, but he migrated to Africa and he worked as a clerk, and we were born and brought up there. So and he married very late in life. So when it came to my wanting to do medicine, it was when he was retiring. So my mom said straight away, there's no way you can become a doctor. We don't have the money. My dad said, no, she wants to, let me see what we can do. Cut the long story short, he took on an extra job after retirement to make sure that I would go through medical school, which I got through in India, in fact. I got admitted as a foreign student because I had a British passport. But my family doctor in Africa told me, you want to be a doctor, you need to go to India to study. Do your post-graduation abroad, but learn to be a doctor in India. So that's how I landed up in India, and I fell in love with the country and decided to remain in India, gave up my British passport and became an Indian citizen. And then, it was a voyage of discovery from St. John's in Bangalore. I did my internship in North India, in Patna, a very, very hostile place, especially for women.
Absolutely.
I was abducted there and almost molested sexually. But we were saved, a nurse myself. We were saved somehow at night. And then after that, I came back to St. John's and went back to do my MD Pediatrics in Varanasi, at the most prestigious institute, Banaras Hindu University.
Yes.
So a different type of life there. And I really saw the suffering people of India, both in Patna as well as in Varanasi. Because there were people that would come in trains and flood our OPD at odd times, and that's when I learned, if they've come at 3 a.m., they've come from Muzaffarpur. If they've come at 9 o'clock in the morning, they've come from Begussarai, something like that. So I learned, to identify people, and I didn't know the language, I didn't know Hindi at all. So I learned Hindi there, but from the movies. And let me say, the movies there, it was that time Rajesh Khanna, Amitabh Bachchan, all these good people, Sharmila Tagore. So their Hindi was so lucid.
Yes, truly.
And I could pick it up because my colleagues would take me for the movie and then they would tell me what it was about, as it was going on. Anyway, that's a different part. So I had to learn Hindi, and I learned a lot about people and suffering. And that's when I realized there was so much of disparity in our country, India. And I said our country, because now I feel very much maligned. Because just because I was not born here and I may not be fluent in all the languages, it doesn't mean to say I don't love my country. I do
Precisely.
anything for India.
Yeah.
And I've chosen to live the rest of my life here because I studied in the medical colleges. I worked here in Goa for 31 years in a government institution, and I felt that I had to give back. So till the time I retired, I was totally involved in looking after children who are healthy most of the time.
Yes.
I would get sick, fever, cough, cold, diarrhea, measles, chickenpox, whatever. And of course, then after that, cancer and whatever. So basically, I was looking after children who are born normal. I did come into contact with children who were with multiple disabilities and challenged, and so many syndromic babies and lots of children for which nothing could be done. But I was like the general doctor's pool. We only do that much and no more. So then I resolved, there was a patient who came to me just before I retired, 2 years or 3 years before I retired. And when I heard her story, I said to myself, I have to do something for this group of children who are disabled. And I knew the medical college had the physiotherapy, but they were not, these children could not avail of the benefits because they came from too far, the journey was too long, they couldn't afford it. And apart from all that, there was so much of prejudice. People wouldn't take them on the buses, wouldn't give them lifts. Their own families would say, oh, forget about this child, you've got a normal child, look after the normal child. You have a husband and in-laws to look after them, forget this child.
Yes.
So that upset me. So that child and his mother, now the child died a few years ago, but mother is still alive and now out of my world. Because of that child and his mother, I decided that I was not going to wait for retirement. I was just going to start at least a physiotherapy center right away. And as God willed, He put a few people in my path, not from India, but from out of India, who said to me that, Dr. V, we want to help you. Is there anything you have in mind? And I said, yes, I want to have a physiotherapy center. I started off with a young pediatric physiotherapist who at that time was very idealistic like me. And she said, ma'am, I'm going to join you and let's work together. So we started this Novi Survat together. But with funding and sponsorship and moral support from our newfound friends in the UK.
Okay.
So we started it, and ever since we started that, I've not looked back. Right. So then I went through retirement, and before that, I need to tell you that when we started this physiotherapy unit, I was very clear that we were not going to charge patients because we were getting the money from elsewhere. But I would not give non-professional services. I had to have fully professional, qualified therapists who would take one child at a time and give the child the full benefit of 1 hour's physiotherapy. Because in that 1 hour, 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes is getting the child to settle down. Then we go through the exercises. And then the last 10 minutes, the child is tired, so we need a break. And the therapist also needs to talk to the mother and everything. So it was designated that 1 hour per child, and we didn't charge. And I was blessed with these wonderful physiotherapists, the pediatric and also the general therapists who picked up from the super consultants. So that's how it was and how it continues till today. The physiotherapy unit, we do not compromise, we do not charge. If they have any means, they are willing to give a donation. We don't have a problem, but we continue to look after them because I feel that in no way do we give them poor service.
Okay.
We had to give them fully professionalized, state-of-the-art therapy because every child deserves that right.
So that's Dr. Meena for you. Her story has inspired me in so many ways than one, and I sincerely hope that she has inspired you too. As for now, it's time for me to say hasta la vista until I have a new story to tell and share with you.